Moving on to not looking too great. There was an article by Hornets publication, not directly affiliated, but just a Hornet fan site, stating that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was a better pick than Mr. Miles Bridges.
Oh boy.
I have my thoughts and opinions. Do you guys have an opinion on that? What do you guys think? Was the article necessary?
I know Vince
was it correct?
To add some more context for those who may not be in the wind of this, essentially what happened was Alexander had two doggone great games with the Clippers. I'm not going to take anything away from the kid. He had two good games. And then this publication, which I'm going to do my best not to mention.
No, we're not.
Posted an article saying that he would have been the better choice over Bridges. Now, here's the deal. Here under construction, one of our motivations for starting this podcast.
You stole my thunder. Good job.
One of our reasons for starting this podcast is because we don't feel like the Charlotte-based media justifies what we feel like they should be doing in regards to the Hornets, in regards to the Panthers, and what's going on in the show and all that good stuff. So we wanted to bring that extra perspective that others can relate to. With that being said, I absolutely love the fact that there are average Joes working 9 to 5s that are taking time out of their day to do this stuff when they're not even getting paid for it. At least initially. I will always support anybody who wants to do that. But to post some heat of the moment BS like that, which is completely disrespectful. Now, if Miles Bridges sat on the bench all year and whatever promise he showed in the beginning faltered and he kind of looked monkish, so to speak, you can almost just...
Interesting.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it today.
Did y'all pick up on that? Okay, all right, but I can kind of see that. But from the All-Star break on, he improved, and he improved, and he improved, and he improved. So because you watch Alexander on a team who was supposed to be tanking this year and wasn't expected to push Houston 7 games, have a say again?
Go to State.
Go to State. No, was it Go to State?
Yeah, they can play.
Yeah, got you. Okay. To watch them push them guys to the brink like that, and then you post that article in the heat of the moment, I honestly don't have a word to describe how I felt.
Jamal,
at least on camera, I can't do it.
Jamal, do you have the words on camera?
Trash, clickbait, unnecessary, garbage,
irresponsible.
Whack, irresponsible. Are those enough words? Lazy. Vince stole a lot of my thunder, and let me just we just had a discussion off camera, and I basically said that basketball discussions, they tend to garner a lot of overreaction. This is why, because you got garbage like this being posted, and fans click on this stuff and they run with this overreactionary stuff, man. I'm going to keep this really, really simple. I'm not even going to go into a lot of detail, and there's not going to be a lot of nuance. Why are we comparing kids after their rookie year? When did we start doing that? Different players hit their strides at different times. Different players hit their prime at different strides. Different players come out at different times. Yeah. Miles Bridges came out as a sophomore. Alexander came out as a freshman. That might matter down the road. Alexander, his role was a lot more, he basically played a lot more with the Clippers than Bridges did early on with the Hornets.
Yeah.
All this stuff matters. So for someone who wants to be a reputable publication to come out with this overreactionary garbage is just sad. Can we at least wait 3 years before we start comparing careers? Can we? And
Alexander started 73 games
right,
this year. In comparison to Miles, only starting like 20, 21 games.
He had a way bigger role than Bridges did.
And when you compare their per 36 or their per 100 possessions, they're essentially the same player. Yeah. They're the same player.
It comes down to, I said this off camera earlier, that this was the Justice Winslow, Frank Kaminsky drama.
Right.
The draft is such a crapshoot, and one thing fans always want to prove is that they know more than the front office. We should have drafted such and such, and if you guys remember on draft night, a lot of people were upset that we traded away, SGA and for Miles Bridges essentially, especially since the Hornets kind of have a history of trading away, really good players on draft night. So I don't know if this publication felt that way on draft night, but if you try and finagle the numbers, you could make it seem like, well, hey, I was right on draft night. This is the pick.
But after the first year,
and the thing
well,
is,
and I don't even have a problem with them highlighting the fact that Alexander may have been a good or the right draft pick, but to come out and say he was the better pick.
And then another issue of mine is Miles Bridges saw the article.
bet.
Said bet. And so, and my thing is, for media members and future media, does this limit their access? Because he feels slighted? Like, hey, you guys don't respect me.
I don't think that will limit someone's access to the team. It was a hot take. It was a hot take. Now,
but does he see it as a hot take?
He's
still a kid.
I think
he's a kid. These players have really big egos.
Let me say he's a kid.
Well, on in their defense, it was strictly basketball, and it was strictly opinion. Now,
not the personal take.
The thing that got me was when I read it, it was just like, hey, Shai is really good. Oh, so is Miles Bridges. Shai's really good. So is Miles Bridges. And so it's just like, okay, basically you were telling me, okay, my personal preference was Shai, but Miles is not a bad pick. But I'm going to write this article because we need clicks, and I want everybody to look at my article.
The timing was just bad on it.
Yeah.
It was just bad, especially considering how well Miles Bridges played down the stretch, how he kind of grew into that starting role. Anyone that watched the Hornets game knew how much of an impact he made. Right. He was our best rim protector.
And no one was talking about Alexander during the regular season. They're only talking about it now because there's less than 16 teams that are playing.
But again, NBA fans love to overreact because Steph Curry, he's falling off. He's not good anymore. Remember,
Inside joke, guys.
Inside joke.
Missed the dunk.
Inside joke.
Real quick before we move on, this goes back to your question. I don't know if you guys ever saw the video clip, but there's some guy in LA that wrote an article about Boogie Cousins, about his brother. I think something happened in the club and all that good stuff. And in the locker room after the game, Boogie was cussing the reporter out. He said, look, I don't care what you write about me. You can say about me whatever the hell you want. But under no circumstance do you ever talk about my family. Do not do that again. Something like that will have you lose your press pass.
Yeah.
But
to keep it strictly basketball,
right.
Miles just got to be Miles just got to be upset.
But any motivation for the young guys is good.
Hey,
you think Miles not going to be thinking about that? He probably got that joint posted on.
Oh yeah.
I need you dunking everybody.
Yeah.
Look, you see SGA in there.
When we play the Clippers, that's going to be
That article be getting retweeted.
Yep.